first WWE Raw of 2026 is done. Obviously, it was a big Netflix, oh my gosh, it's our birthday anniversary special. So I think there are a lot of expectations on this. We also had a massive main event with the World Heavyweight Championship being on the line. And listen, a bunch of belts did change hands, not CM Punk's, that we'll talk to in just 1 second. Was this the home run that I was expecting? Probably not, and I think that's the genuine consensus. However, I do think there was some absolute joy on this show, and there were some confusing elements too, especially because some people are now saying, oh my gosh, we just buried Bron Breakker. I don't think that's true at all. In fact, I think it's a little bit ridiculous. However, as we are here, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Thank you to everyone that signed up with the Patreon in the last 24 hours. Patreon.com/Simon316. Daily watch-along start today. Now that I've sorted out my processing issue, watch my Royal Rumble video from yesterday if you want to know what I'm talking about. But for now, let's talk Raw. So yes, CM Punk versus Bron Breakker. Let me get my rant out the way to begin with. No, I do not think if you lose a wrestling match, you've been buried. Someone's got to win, and somebody once has to lose. Some people do get buried in these situations, not Bron Breakker. I think we are ignoring the nuance when we get into arguments like that. The way I took it is that I'm talking about within the story here, not how WWE sees Bron Breakker behind the scenes. Bron Breakker is still a rookie and maybe made one mistake too many here, whereas CM Punk is the wily veteran who is basically... what's the way to put it? He's like old man Punk. I don't mean that literally, but it's like, oh man, do I have one more left in me? Oh, I do, sweet. And the next match be like, oh man, do I have one more left in me? Oh, I do, sweet. I think the way that CM Punk lays out a wrestling match, especially with a big fight feel to it, which is the word I've used on all my videos today. Make sure you check out Ups and Downs over on What Culture, the 10-year anniversary of Ups and Downs. I'm so old. Somebody save me. But I think the way that he lays matches out in this capacity, so easy to buy in. And of course, they'd done the hard work before this as well, because I thought Bron Breakker could win, I thought CM Punk could win, so you had that jeopardy. The thing, I would have kept all the shenanigans out of the other matches before the main event, because of course the Vision was here, and Dragon Lee was here, Rey Mysterio was here, and some other people too. Penta, who came out to his music, because why wouldn't you want to do that? And that made sense, right? At least it cleared the field. But I don't want to say there needs to be a rule that you do it one time per show. I just think it would have been better here. You know, keep all your bells and whistles for this match. But ultimately, it was Bron Breakker being clocked by a rise shot. Like, he had CM Punk down, he went for the spear. From nowhere, CM Punk kneed him right in the face, which looked awesome. They've done that spot before. It always looked cool. He hit the second GTS, because Breakker did kick out of a GTS earlier in the match. He gets the 1, 2, 3, but he was spent afterwards. And I suppose the other thing we need to talk about, because otherwise people go nuts in the comments, yes, they went through a Frankensteiner, and either Bron Breakker or CM Punk screwed it up. I think it was Bron Breakker. Whatever. These things happen. I'm not talking about the dive. The dive was clearly planned. CM Punk took a horrible fall like Humpty Dumpty, but Bron Breakker punched him. That was definitely part of the finish and why he was a bit wibbly-jibbly when Bron Breakker went for that spear. I just don't get this. People use the term botch, right? I try not to use that term because I think it has a negative connotation to it. When you have two giant men, particularly in Bron Breakker, flying around the ring, the law of averages will tell you, one, this is likely going to happen a couple of times, but also two, why wouldn't you want stuff like this? People have to be okay, right? Health and happiness first and foremost. But as long as everybody is all right, when you do get incidences like this, not only can you really find out where somebody is in their working ability, but it makes the damn thing feel real. And if we are watching predetermined sports, to suspend our disbelief, the best way to do it is to be like, oh my gosh, that sort of made me go all like, I can't believe that happened. What's going to happen next? I'm never going to crap on anyone. It doesn't mean that you can't have a bad match if it happens over and over again. And we have talked about that on videos before, but here, one little slip, it shouldn't even be part of a conversation other than 2 seconds like, oh my gosh, I hope Bron Breakker is okay. It didn't take away from this match at all. And I would presume now Bron Breakker's story, at least for the first half of 2026, is how does he climb back to the mountain? He will be the world champion. If we get to 2027 and Bron hasn't become the world champion, then we've made a huge mistake, right? That's an error, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think WWE's smarter than that. Maybe he does win it at WrestleMania. This, to me, hopefully sets him up to be the next guy. I just think CM Punk is awesome. He came out wearing a Scott Steiner or a Steiner Brothers-esque jacket, which is always nice. Didn't really make a big deal out of it. It's more of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So I really like this. I thought it was really good. Excited to see what CM Punk is going to do next. Excited to see what Bron Breakker is going to do next. At the moment, the babyface is standing tall too. Let's forget about who's young and who's old. Ultimately, you want the babyface to eventually win, and the fans did pop big here. So there's a couple of thumbs from me. I really enjoyed it. I guess we should talk about the Stranger Things stuff as well. Listen, man, it was pants, but I don't care. It's a corporate time. What were you expecting? Didn't care that none of the actors were on the show. If one of them was a wrestling fan, that would have been good. But I remember the Raw guest host period of Raw, which again is dumb dumb sentence to say, award-winning journalist that has won awards. They didn't want to be there. I don't want anyone to be there that doesn't want to be there, especially now because we are living in the Bad Bunny, Logan Paul era of celebrity wrestlers who actually do have a passion for this to begin with and will treat it with seriousness, not like Jeremy Piven, who, his face like, I don't want to be here, agent. What did he call SummerSlam? Like the Summerfest. Actually, it was brilliant. Maybe we should do it again. And there was like the Bob Barker episodes that were fantastic, but we had some props, we had some music. Michael Cole and Corey Graves walked out of an ambulance, and we had a 1980s reference. It was really silly, but I'm sure Netflix are happy, and I'm sure they planned this to begin with. It meant nothing to me, right? I could do without the chapters. I don't need my Raw broken up into chapters, but that is all I have to say about it. I mean, maybe people don't care, and it was just social media having a meltdown, but it didn't take away from the show. It didn't really add to the show. Actually, I like the Stranger Things theme, so that was good. I enjoyed that, but otherwise I was like, okay, we've had some corny lines. We're kind of trying to lean into it as much as we can. I can just ignore it, right? And it went right over my bald head. Let us talk about the other title changes as well, because it was a bit of a mixed bag. Loved Rhea Ripley and Io Sky defeating the Kabuki Warriors. Did not see that coming. WWE tricked me with their wrestling tropes from SmackDown. I thought because they were victorious in that big old match, they weren't going to be victorious here. I think that does make all the sense in the world because you knew you were going to change 2 championships. So in that sense, it did make this episode of Raw feel like a bigger deal than usual. And I just love the fact the Women's Tag Team Championships actually have some momentum now. There was a time, particularly in 2024, where they would come and they would go. Sometimes you're like, we'll put them on a milk carton. So I couldn't even remember who the champions were. Even though the champions would be on Raw and SmackDown because they never talked about the belts. Like, are you still the champion? I don't even know. So it was just a great match, right? Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Asuka and Kairi Sane are fantastic. You can hot potato this belt a little bit. I don't think we should, but you absolutely can, given that we do have so many championships now. If it makes sense for the story, you should do it. And it was just a nice moment. I think you may be able to reverse the Kairi Sane-Asuka relationship now, because it was Asuka that took the pin here, but it just ruled. Like, it just did. There's not even much more you can say about it. Rhea and Io are a fantastic tag team. The Kabuki Warriors are a fantastic tag team. And there are a bunch of other fantastic tag teams. So let's continue the feud going, and let's keep putting it on stars. Again, Rhea and Io are 2 of the biggest stars in the company, absolutely in the female division. I loved it. I really did. I thought it was a great way to start Raw. Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree. I enjoyed the title change. I did not like the finish. I just don't think it was executed. I'm sure the idea in their head worked, but basically, Maxine Dupree gets the ankle lock, and Becky goes for the rope, and she turns it into the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up. All Maxine had to do was kind of wiggle and jiggle. Now, Becky Lynch did grab the rope to prove I am cheating here, but Maxine kind of held on to her foot. It's just like, let go of her foot. Even if she had have done that, it didn't really feel, and again, you have to try these things in the real world to see how they're going to land with the audience, and some people may have loved it. And as I'll say time and time again, in case we do have any new audience members, if you enjoyed anything on this episode of Raw that I didn't, you win, because we all sat down to watch it to be entertained, and you can't expect that from a program that's going to go on 52 weeks a year, every single week. But I would always give you a salute and a nod. I think that's awesome that you got something from it. I just think, I hate saying this, I said it on Ups and Downs as well, it was the worst of the Maxine Becky Lynch matches, but that's such a waste of time. It's a waste of life to compare things like that, but it was. At least that's how it felt to me. And so when you got a finish that to me was a bit, I'm not 100% sure on that, it just didn't land. Now, the positive to all of this is that Becky Lynch, per storyline, cheated to win this back, right? And that can lead to, I would assume, the AJ Lee feud properly, and ultimately AJ Lee, I imagine, winning that belt, maybe even at WrestleMania. Maxine Dupree is still in a great position. She does get better and better. She does have a connection with the fans. And I think right now, if you can just put her in the proper feuds going forward, by the end of the year especially, you will have got her where you want her to be, and everything is going to be fine. I also like the fact that we're doing this. This is going to make me sound more insulting than I mean to, so I apologise, especially if Maxine Dupree ever watches this video. I highly doubt it. But because we are seeing her grow and learn and evolve and get better experience in real time, that means you can root for her more. It's one of my favourite things about NXT. You can watch a match that is a total like, oh no, this isn't going well at all, but then the next week they get a bit better, then it's 6 months, they're on the main roster, let's say, and it really makes you go, wow, man, I'm so happy I was part of this journey, and Maxine Dupree is doing exactly that right now. So just find her a different opponent that she can work with and she can play into her strengths or hide her weaknesses. All this is going to be fine. So the title change itself, good. I think Becky Lynch starting the year off as a champion does make sense, and she does bring a lot of star power to that title, which it needs. The match itself was kind of hit and miss for me, and I think if you wanted to skip it entirely, you wouldn't be missing out on much. But still, changing 2 titles on Raw is always going to be good in some sense, because it means you were part of a happening. Let's face it, there were some times in the summer of 2025 where there were no happenings on Raw, so let's appreciate it when we got it. Talking about no happenings as well, the Usos just walked out and went, we're the champions, and then they walked off again. So I do have fear for the Raw Tag Team division because it feels like exactly the same it was in 2025, except for the fact that Jimmy and Jey are great. Like, they really are a GOAT tag team. I flip and love them. But let's hope we have bigger plans for that. And I guess the other big takeaway is that Gunther versus AJ Styles is happening next week. I was like, good grief, that came out of nowhere. I mean, I know they were teasing it, but I thought it was going to be exactly that. We tease and eventually they come back round together. I mean, it happened here after Gunther came out and did the whole I made John Cena tap out like a bitch skit again. I do think we need to not necessarily move away from it. He has to talk about John Cena for the rest of his career. He has to talk about it. But I think he maybe needs to get a little bit more serious about it now because it's becoming a bit tongue-in-cheek. But AJ Styles does come out, slaps him around the face. Gunther does nothing. And then later on, Adam Pearce books that match for next week. So that is exciting to me. I don't think they've ever fought before. I think in many ways they have a very similar approach to pro wrestling. Now, eventually, somebody is going to have to be, can I get this right? No, Brock Lesnar I'll just say it normally. Brock Lesnar destroyed John Cena at SummerSlam after the WrestleMania 30 ending of The Undertaker streak. Someone is going to have to be the John Cena to Gunther, right? Gunther is going to have to John Cena someone like Brock did. It should be Brock, really. Different video for a different day. I don't think that should be AJ Styles next week, but I think we just have to take Gunther now, and it has to be level up, level up, level up, level up. He should be, I don't think he's going to win the Royal Rumble, but he could win the Royal Rumble. He should be a champion. By the end of the year, he should be untouchable, and he should have beaten AJ Styles, and he should have beaten Brock Lesnar. I think there are two people he absolutely has to defeat and maybe even retire if we are heading that way. But there has to be a plan here to all of a sudden do that match earlier than I expected, particularly because the Royal Rumble's only 3 weeks away. Why aren't we holding off for that? Ultimately, because they're going to be in the Rumble itself. But I like that a lot because I was like, well, damn, I didn't think that was going to go down. And in sadder news too, it seems like Stephanie Vercaer is injured. She came out here with a walking boot, and we had Raquel Rodriguez, I would assume, write her off TV. Absolutely destroyed her in the ring and behind the scenes. That is just such a shame because I still think Stephanie Vercaer's title reign wasn't as good as it probably should have been, but people still connected with her, right? And even the promo she cut here, once again, she just tries so damn hard, you can't help be like, you go, Stephanie. And I'm a big fan of having Raquel Rodriguez in that position because now this should be one of her years as well. I think she should have a title run in 2026. I think she should be treated like a badass. I think she should be a monster, and we should just tick all those boxes. So, like, Raw certainly wasn't bad, but I did think there were just some segments you're like, I don't really know what's going on. And the Usos would have been one of them, like we talked about that. Austin Theory only popped up in a backstage, Netflix promo with Logan Paul. He was involved in the main event, but he felt like another guy already, which I don't think is great when you've only been back 2 weeks. And I didn't think having Javon Evans sign his Raw contract during a Netflix ad commercial was the best idea. We talked about this on SmackDown. I'm enjoying all the Obafemi videos. But Trick Williams, Jordan Grace, and Javon, I think they should have had bigger storylines attached to their call-ups. It's not a big deal. This is a pet peeve of mine. Javon Evans is going to be great, and he's going to be a world champion in a couple of years. I just think that guy's bouncy, to use those words, but he's going to fly so damn high. He is just so much fun. And I guess the last thing to talk about is the Lyra Valkyria versus Liv Morgan match. Somehow, this felt like it was stuck in the Judgment Day stuff, but it can't have been because Liv Morgan hasn't wrestled Lyra Valkyria, maybe ever, but at least for the last 6 months because she's not been on TV. It's a good match. They're very, very good wrestlers. And of course, I had shenanigans at the end with Bayley going psycho Bayley and chasing Roxanne Perez away. But this is when you had Lyra just stalled. She was like, I can't believe that Bayley did that. Even though every single week I'm telling Bayley to be like that, the way she put herself in position for the Oblivion is the best thing that has happened all year, all 5 days of it. I mean, that's me being a little bit facetious, but it was so obvious what was going to happen. But ultimately, we need to do more with Lyra. She had a much better start in 2025 than she has in 2026. She's lost in the shuffle a little bit. Liv Morgan makes the show better, though. Lyra has all the potential in the world, so it's fine. And given that belt has been held up, or I presume it will be, I would make Liv Morgan the champion tomorrow. I just would. I just think that makes sense. Like sometimes if you find yourself in a situation, you can hit fast forward on other things as well. So I would get that done. But it was a good match. The problem is here is I don't know what we're doing with Roxanne. I don't know what we're doing with Bayley. And I don't know what we're doing with Lyra. I mean, Liv Morgan obviously is going to cause the breakup of the Judgment Day. But we have to wait and see. But again, I think because WWE's doing a lot have been put on this episode of Raw, when you kind of just got that, it was like, meh. But at the same time, you had 2 title changes. So I don't want to be too disparaging here. It was a fun show. There are a lot of moments moments that I felt could have been improved, but again, we've talked about those. Improved isn't the right word, but I mean, like the Usos thing, it was just there. The John Madden thing's awesome, but it was in a commercial break. And the Stephanie Vaquer thing was never going to be good, right? You never want to hear that. But I do think WWE has set themselves up very strongly for this European tour. You're getting Drew and Cody in 3 stages of hell, and Raw is getting Gunther versus AJ Styles, which is a massive match given what they've done ever since Gunther did retire John Cena around about 4 weeks ago. So, I don't know. The Stranger Things stuff, is again, it was kind of hit and miss. The main event was so damn good, I absolutely would give it a couple of thumbs. I just thought it felt like a big deal. It felt like something you could see on a PLE. And I would like to think that WWE has plans for Bron Breakker, so it's totally fine. Like, it really, really is. And now you do have Penta, Ray, and Dragon Lee involved with the Vision as well, which is super interesting. So I presume they're going to team with CM Punk, which makes sense because Rey Mysterio and CM Punk have been buddy boys, and that keeps up the Bron Breakker thing. But then come the Rumble, again, I predicted it yesterday. I think it's going to be LA Knight versus CM Punk at the Rumble. I'm not so sure on that now, but I hit pause there because, again, I've got to be a promoter. You can go and watch the video from yesterday. So an okay Raw, I would say all in all. Really good opening with the tag titles, really good ending with the World Heavyweight titles. And in the middle, well, it was fine. It kind of felt like any other episode of Raw, but maybe it was a bit more than that. I don't know. I certainly don't think it was bad. Like, a lot of stuff wasn't to my tastes, but there was some Raws in 2025, some SmackDowns, which was like, oh, this is not abysmal, but I'll use that word anyway. It was a little bit tiring to get through. I wouldn't say that at all. This was more about what your personal preferences are, and that's great. That's what you want. You want to be able to watch a show where I kind of like this and I didn't like that, as opposed to this is absolutely awful and I want to turn off my television. I don't think that happened at all, but I would like to know what you thought about the show, so please do leave me a comment below. You can say whatever you want, but try and be respectful, because why the hell not? It's nice to be nice. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. I would massively appreciate that. My prediction of the Raw Rumble that happened before this Raw, because I'm a brave old soul, kinda, is on the screen right now. Otherwise, we talked about Patreon. If you are trying to get in shape for 2026, check out grillermind.com/Simon. You just go to Simon to get money off. It ships worldwide. You don't have to take supplements, of course, to get in shape, but I do think these can help you 1-2%. So again, you can go check them out and get some money off. Otherwise, come say hello at Simon316 on Instagram, Twitter, and the rest of them. And then it's Cameo, it's TikTok, and it's Pro Wrestling Tees. I need more of a flow with that. I always forget them. Search for my name. I will be there, and any support would rule as well. And of course, my wrestling journey starts again in a week or so. So come check me out live, should you so wish. Appreciate you, my friends. I hope you have a terrific 2026. Thank you for all the support. I massively do appreciate it. I'll see you soon.